Hello! What's going on, gorgeous? My name is Chaz Kangas, and I had something interesting happen on the World Wide Web recently. I, through Discogs, purchased a copy of the Chris Gaines album, The Life of Chris Gaines. I have never owned this. It came out 20 years ago this September. 1989 was a wild year. And curiosity getting the better of me, wanted to use part of it for an upcoming project, so about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I scoured the internet to find a copy to purchase it. I bought it off of Discogs. I bought it what I assumed was used for really cheap because it was labeled pre-owned. And it arrived, and when I opened it, I was startled, even a bit gobsmacked, to find this copy of the Chris Gaines album was still sealed. So I figured, how many of these are still sealed? Someone I know said probably all of them. But on the off chance there isn't many more, and there really isn't a whole lot of Chris Gaines related content on the internet, I, for you, am going to do this unboxing, unraveling of Chris Gaines. Greatest Hits, The Life of Chris Gaines. Or as the label on the top here says, Garth Brooks in The Life of Chris Gaines. How's that for you? So you can see here it's sealed still completely. This is that era of CD packaging where it was that one little loop of plastic in the middle to get open. And let's see, where's this thing begin? Here we go. Alright. Before they had those little things to pull, there was the one red line that said pull that was like a vertical one, and even before that there was nothing. It was just plastic, so you often had to either be handy with the safety scissors or those little plastic things that made great Christmas stocking stuffers you put on the top and just slide through. We're getting very on in the peak of the music industry in terms of like opening our compact discs. So, here's what we got. Chris Gaines here on the front. That's Garth Brooks, for those who may not be familiar with this. The story is Garth Brooks wanted to experiment outside of country music. He was the biggest recording artist in the world, wanted to do a rock album, wanted to experiment with a few genres, and decided he wanted to, at some point, do a movie called The Lamb, which was going to be about this fictional rocker he created named Chris Gaines. An alter ego that had no connection to him whatsoever, so he could play around with things. There was a primetime NBC special that was like a career retrospective on Chris Gaines. VH1 aired a completely fictitious behind the music that, if you can search clips online, I think a few floated around Twitter, definitely worth watching for the absurdity. Interestingly enough, very little of this album can still be heard online. I don't know if Garth himself or Garth's people are trying to scrub it out and get rid of it. The real reason that drove me to buy it was because I knew there was a hip-hop song on the record, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I'd heard it a long time ago. I didn't think it was ever on YouTube. I think I found a Daily Motion upload of it back when Daily Motion was like the wild west of the internet. And it was a, come on people now, smile on your brother, for the hook, and in the middle of it, Garth is spitting rhymes. It's as close to politics as you can possibly get. Like, I think at one point he says, maybe it's a government and all the other crooks. Really cutting edge stuff for WTO protest era. Anyway, without any further departure. So, this is the record. I'm going to slide open the top. A little tricky. I see this thing's putting up a fight after 20 years. There we go. Capitol Records put this out too. Whenever I see the logo, I think one of the giant Capitol Records building in Los Angeles, and two on the one Third Base album, the Cactus album, when they dissed the Beastie Boys for leaving Def Jam for Capitol Records. I believe it's Prime Minister Pete Nice who takes a somewhat veiled shot because they were now on Def Jam, and they said, "The Beast now lives at the Capitol." So I think it's important that most things in life relate to Third Base lyrics. It's the last little bit here. It's in complex structures like a pyramid. Also Third Base. There we go. And, alright. Slide open this top, yeah. So now, first time in 20 years, opening this bad boy. Garth Brooks in The Life of Chris Gaines. You're going to see it before I do because I'm doing it like this. There better be a disc inside. Good, there is an, oh, whoa, check this out. This is the complete flipping it on him. Because, oh, I see. So, this cover, this is what we saw on the outside of the disc was Garth Brooks in The Life of Chris Gaines. But when you turn it over, it's Chris Gaines' greatest hits. See how he's flipping it on you. Oh, and here it says, Christian Gene Gaines, born August 10th, 1967, in Brisbane, Australia. August 10th, Hulk Hogan's birthday, I believe, Madonna's birthday. And in August 10th, 1996, was the inaugural WCW Hog Wild from Sturgis, South Dakota. That is all I know about August 10th. It's also 4 days before my birthday, which is coming up. But I already got this, so you don't need to give me another copy. But Grassi. Father, Gene Gaines, former swim coach for the Long Beach State University and a former coach of both the U.S. and Australian Olympic swim teams. Mother, Carolyn Johns Gaines, former swimmer for the Australian Olympic team and Commonwealth Games medalist. Chris was born August 10th, 1967 in Brisbane, Australia. See, okay, so then this lists all of his Billboard top things, all of his singles, all of his songs, like in order. And it's like spaced in the middle of these major life moments with like a green C and a green G. That's the Dr. Garth on there right there. And you can see it in here, they're really trying to sell the idea of who this character is, that it's fully developed and fleshed out. Which, for the fact that this side is trying to be the greatest hits thing, unless my memories escape me, there isn't like this detailed of a biography in like greatest hits records when they happen. But, Garth can write his own rules at this point. Oh, wow. So now we have the words of Chris Gaines himself talking about Lost in You, which was the first single. Recently, my NYU roommate, Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, covered it. And oddly enough, that hit the internet the night that I received this in the mail after ordering it. So great minds think alike, specifically about Garth Brooks' Chris Gaines endeavor. So he has like writing about what he thought about when he was writing Lost in You, and he's writing this as Chris Gaines writing about it. So Lost in You says, "The song was originally written for the movie Revelations," all caps. "I was contacted by the producers and was told they were looking for a title song, so they flew me out to screen the movie. I know everyone will remember the movie for its special effects, but the love affair between Scott and Kennedy is what grabbed me. The whole world is coming to an end, and all that seems to matter to him is making sure that she knows how much he doesn't want to live if living means without her. Lost in You came from that love." Okay, that's the thing. I'm not going to read all these, but I am going to read the next one because it's right now. And again, I've never read these before, and I got to know what was going through Chris Gaines' mind when he was recording a rap song. Right now. This idea came to me while watching the news. Senseless acts of violence, the slaughtering of innocents, not innocents, but innocents, and the countless opportunities for peace wasted. So I joined the current events of the 90s with the Give Peace a Chance theme of the 60s. I don't do anthems. I'm not a preacher, but people, this win no matter what we lose attitude is going to kill us all. Please love one another. This is also at a time when there was somewhat of a drought in political music in America in 1999. This would change dramatically 2 years later with the events of September 11th, 2001. So the idea of Chris Gaines taking the politics of the 90s, we really narrowly missed the Chris Gaines 9/11 song. Just imagine some alternate universe where Chris Gaines takes off, the Lamb gets made. Who knows what we could be celebrating right now, the 20th anniversary of Chris Gaines hitting us in a bigger distinction. So yeah, here's the ones for Snow in July, Drifting Away, That's the Way I Remember It, and then there's the Bowie-esque triangle there for Mr. Gaines. Here we have a nice little hotel there up from the Apostle album era. You can tell with the font there. Apostle Chris Gaines. Let's see. The cover warning on this one. The Chris Gaines album Fornucopia. The ones for White Flag, Digging for Gold, and the cover of Straight Jacket, which this is not aged well, even for the meta joke of it. There we go. Crush, which is, from what I'm reading this, Gaines' first Band, which is for the track My Love Tells Me So, and I don't know if this is if Garth's face is actually imposed or buried in within the looks of right here. And if there's any like really hardcore Chris Gaines apologists who are reading this and I'm butchering something historical about this record, please let me know. I apologize in advance. And here we go. So instead of like the typical listing of album credits, it's listed here as cast. Garth Brooks, Chris Gaines, acoustic guitar. Then Gordon Kennedy, Wayne Kirkpatrick, Tommy Sims, and Chris McHugh. Not using any sort of aliases. It's really them, folks. They also sing of the also starring for the people who contributed different instruments to different tracks on the record. And, With Love. That just got funny. Sandy, as if living with Garth wasn't hard enough, now Chris has moved in with us. Thanks for putting up with both of us. Taylor, August, and Allie, I love you, I love you, I love you. The Brookses, Smiddles, Malls, Holdens, Hadlocks. Thanks for keeping the family together without me. I am sorry for being gone so much. Bob Doyle and Kelly Brooks, not only did you support me on this, you encouraged me to go farther. Very cool. Wayne, Gordon, Don, JB, Tommy, and Chris, the past 6 months have been the good old days. Thanks for that. Lisa Sanderson and Carol Collini, if I need it, you're the call I make. Thanks for making it easy. Kenny and Tracy Edmonds, both of you have treated me like an equal when I know I'm not. Ellipsis, thanks. Mostly to God, for it is through him all things are possible. And then here we have the actual credits for all the songs, and then a picture of Chris Gaines. Looks like a bit of an outtake from the first part of the record. And, yeah. Garth Brooks in the life of Chris Gaines. Now, as for the disc itself, you have the CG here for the Chris Gaines Greatest Hits. You can see the picture of me and Colonel Sanders reflected in the background that I got from KFC for being the first person on Twitter to realize that the KFC Twitter account was following the 5 Spice Girls and 6 guys named Herb, 11 Herbs and Spices, but you didn't come here to about KFC. You came here for Chris Gaines. So this is, I'll try to get that slightly out of frame there. Yeah, it looks like that. The CG logo with the Earth in the middle. And then behind that, you have, you got this picture looking like it's from Chris Gaines' experimental late 80s, early 90s period. Horizontal stripes all up in there. And it says, the characters and incidents portrayed... The characters and incidents portrayed and the names herein are fictitious. Any similarity to the named characters or history of any person is entirely coincidental and unintentional. So in case you were wondering, Chris Gaines is not real. So there you have it. That is the unboxing of Garth Brooks in the life of Chris Gaines, or Chris Gaines' Greatest Hits, if you're nasty. I'm Chaz Kangas. If you want to hear my music, I am on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere music can be streamed or stolen or purchased. You can find my album, The Rex Manning Day EP, which features D.C. Pearson, Colt Cabana, Voss, Maria Issa, B.S., Albert Reinstein, and so many more. You can find the rest of my music elsewhere all over the internet. You can hear my show, First Impressions, Sundays, 10 to midnight on Go 95.3, 10 to midnight Central Time, here in God's country, Minneapolis, Minnesota. You can find me anywhere on Twitter at ChazRaps, Instagram at ChazRaps, and or you can type the 8 magic letters CHAZRAPS. You can reach me. Thanks for watching. As you look back at Chris Gaines, I love you.